I cut it short, Charles.
That's all right. That's all right. I didn't need the 47 seconds this
There
time.
you go. All right.
Hey,
Welcome,
we
everybody, to the podcast. Charles is back. We had some fun on Saturday, and we ran into Dr. Sam Wagner down here. It's been a pleasure to have you join us today. We appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So pre-show, I was telling you a little bit about the internet and how it had wonderful things to say. Something I love to do because I don't think enough people Google themselves. I really don't, because the what you do on the internet, you can't really hide from it unless you're out there policing it, and even then it's a good idea to catch it. And so I went to Bing. I love Bing. I do this thing called Give with Bing, and I guess my searches, I generate these points, and then I use the points and I donate to St. Jude's. I think in the 2 years I've been doing it, I've donated like $129 just by binging instead of Googling.
Wow. That's
Yeah. So I utilize the co-pilot there. We're really good friends. If you ask it, I'm sure it'll tell you. But so when I asked about you, the first thing it came up with was you and your Chiropractic, the Rehab Lab of Wisconsin, which we'll jump into that very soon. You guys are doing wonderful things there and very successful because of it. So I asked it, though, who you are as a person. And it said, Dr. Sam Wagner, beyond his professional role as a chiropractor, is a compassionate and dedicated individual. He approaches patient care with empathy, recognizing that each person's well-being is unique. His commitment extends beyond pain relief. He aims to empower patients with knowledge about their bodies and proactive health practices. Dr. Wagner's holistic approach emphasizes movement, rehabilitation, and overall wellness. You can't hide from the internet, bro. You're a good person. And we appreciate you and your time. That's so fantastic. So what do you think about your internet profile?
Yeah, didn't have. I will say I never binged myself, but
Yeah.
that's pretty humbling to hear, and I'm only that because of the team that I've surrounded myself with.
Yeah, Dr. Mike actually just recently reached out. The Rehab Lab in Wisconsin. You have socials out there, I believe, Instagram, Facebook. Do you do a TikTok as well?
We do not do a TikTok. We've been more stepping into that world, but at this point we do not. So it's at Rehab Lab Wisco is the Instagram, and then Rehab Lab Wisconsin is the Facebook page.
So as soon as I followed, within just a few moments of the day, your counterpart, Dr. Mike, actually had reached out.
Oh, awesome.
So I thought that was super cool. So it's a very human approach to what you all do. You seem to care on both levels, before I meet you and after I meet you, and that's a fantastic story to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's really important to me and to us is people are people and they need to be treated that way. They're not a number, and it's a human interaction, and it's all about relationships and maintaining those and cultivating those in the proper way.
That's a fantastic answer.
That's a Charles answer. He likes to give these eclectic answers all the time.
So now, heading to the Rehab Lab Wisconsin.com. Right away, some of the big tells, something I'm not sure if you knew this, but Patrick and I are huge Packer fans.
Yeah.
So hearing that you're part of the team that continues to care for the players of the Green Bay Packers is fantastic. Now, if you could, how did that journey begin?
Yeah, absolutely. I pursued playing professionally after college and got connected with now a really close friend of mine when I was doing my combine prep and pro day prep at a gym in Chicago. He was doing like a senior internship with the training staff and was about to leave to go to chiropractic school out on the West Coast. And we just kept in touch because I was like, when this stream ends, I want to pursue that next stream. I want to do more this sports performance, rehab, recovery. And we just kept in touch. And through school, I just made sure that I was constantly shadowing, getting certifications, learning, doing, and that allowed me to continue to maintain those relationships. And one thing led to another. I got an intro to Jordan and went to his house and worked on him. And he's, I want to do this for the year. And
Yeah.
and it snowballed.
That's fantastic. And
Yeah.
I love hearing the new players. I just love hearing the athletes reaching out, continuing to try to do new things or continue in the path of former players who have found success in these types of medicines and maintaining your body and not taking a if it's not broke, don't fix it approach when it comes to the physical side of the athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big emphasis is now everyone wants that next edge or competitive level,
Yeah.
and you've got to be more proactive rather than reactive in order to do so.
Yeah, that is a fantastic point. So when we were deep diving the website, we also noticed that y'all tackle quite a few rugby players.
Yeah. So when I was in chiropractic school, I went to Life University Health Sciences in Atlanta, Georgia, and because of playing football, their rugby coach reached out to me and was like, "Hey, would you want to play some rugby and you can get some scholarship towards school?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, if you're going to pay for some of my school, of course."
Sure.
And so then
Yeah,
I played rugby, having never played, and that was probably honestly the best place to learn rugby because
yeah.
life is like a powerhouse. And I was playing with guys from Ireland, Scotland, South Africa, Fiji,
Oh,
New
that's so
Zealand.
cool.
It was pretty cool. And it was pretty neat to see how global that game is. And it's not the same as American football, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, and on previous episodes, Patrick and I have actually talked about rugby often, and outside of America, rugby has a huge following.
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah. And actually, and even still, just recently in USA news, with our women's rugby team taking that bronze, and I believe there's a professional rugby team coming, women's team coming to Wisconsin. Is that right, Patrick? I believe, what was it? Madison was
I
getting
think
up.
we dove into it. Yeah, we tried to figure out where it was, and we were trying to figure out where we can get down on the field. Get some
Yeah, we
field
want to go
practice,
ask
and
them
do some
questions. But
interviews,
yeah, 2025, there's a professional women's rugby team
yeah.
that'll be here in Wisconsin. So that'll be exciting. Life of a chiropractor. How it's weird. It's not, and I don't want to use the term weird because it's not something that I woke up one day and went, this is what I should do.
Yeah.
What even led to that? Now you had mentioned your close friend. Is that the kind of foundation to your chiropractic?
Not, no, not really. Actually, so my brother, when we were younger, had a back injury. We were playing sports and a bunch of stuff growing up, and they went and saw a neurosurgeon and said he had to have this crazy surgery, and he was 10. And my parents were like, okay, well, like that seems extreme. Let's try to go a different route. And then the chiropractor that was in our town, they went and visited him, and he was also one of the high school coaches. So he was really like in tune with athletics and movement, and one thing led to another. And I remember going to his appointments, and everyone that went into the office and left was always happy,
Yeah.
and they felt better, and the environment was awesome. And I was like, this is crazy. This guy's a doc and he sets his own hours and he's helping people just with his hands. That's so
Yeah.
cool. And there's something like really powerful about that. So that kind of started that itch, I would say. And then I just wanted to dive into it more and more. And that led me to adding kind of more tools to the tool belt because I think adjustments are great, but you've got what 206 bones and almost 650 muscles. Like if you don't adjust the musculature, if you're not working on the movement and the rehab component, you're missing part of the boat from my perspective. And
Yeah.
so how I was like, that was a great vehicle to allow me to do what I do now.
Wow, that's fantastic. But that was a beautiful insight also. Now, I don't try to do this often, but I tend to find myself in positions where I destroy the word in front of me. Dr. Markowski?
Markowski, yep.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Tell us a little bit about y'all's relationship and how this came to be.
Yeah, Dr. Mike is the man. We've been friends and pretty tight for the last 3 years. And we had back then been talking about, hey, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to open this practice. If there's an opportunity, would that be something that you'd be interested in? And immediately he, yeah, I would love to. And so actually a month into opening Rehab Lab Wisconsin, he reached out. He's, hey, I'm like really want to join you. I said,
Yeah.
okay, I just got this started. Let's see where things go. And within 6 months, I needed to bring him on part-time just because of the patient volume. And
Yeah.
um, since then, it's been a slam dunk. It's been amazing. The patients love him. He's an incredible clinician and super knowledgeable and down to earth. And it's, I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I know a lot of people sometimes talk about, like, hey, don't get into work with friends.
Yeah.
But the maturity of our relationship allows it to happen, and
Yeah.
it happens really well.
Well, there's anomalies everywhere. And you hate to say, oh, there's anomalies everywhere, but there's
Yeah.
not anomalies in one singular thing
Right.
in a plethora. But in the general sense, and it seems as if you two have found that path. He's also a triathlete. There's been some great news surrounding you two via social media over the last few days, actually. You just became engaged.
Yes.
Congratulations to
Thank
that. We're so happy to hear that. And Dr. Mike just did a triathlon.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, he was training for it for a while and just completed it, and actually did really well.
Yeah.
So he's I'm going to do another one. So he's,
that's
he's all ready to
fantastic.
roll.
Yeah, I full disclosure. So I was once in the Army infantry, and we used to run a lot. And when I left, I swore to everything inside of me that even if a bear was chasing me, I was not going to die tired. I've never understood in my life why people like look at this thing called running and they're like, "Oh my God, that is for me." And I applaud them every single day because I don't know if it's just the personal will or I don't know if I'm pretty lazy nowadays. I'm okay with saying that out loud now. I think at 36, if you're not comfortable saying what you are, we need to have a different conversation. But I'm so happy to hear that. That's fantastic news. Patrick, don't let me take all the limelight here.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Throw in a couple questions.
Yeah, Charles and I had a question. I don't know if you did any research into it, but we were talking about like what the science has done now with Watkins going to Madison and finding that out with his hamstring, that the percentages were off in one of his hamstrings. Like that's something that obviously the sciences have like really broken down as far as like the NFL and like the Scientology, but the scientific part of it, breaking it down where you guys can actually figure this stuff out, where the muscle mass, all these different things that you need to, something about, I think I read an article about it. He figured out how many reps, or the doctors figured out how many reps in order to be able to fix it, tear it enough, and to cure it. Like things like that, the technology, all the things that are going on nowadays, you guys utilize that in your practice in order to be able to give your patients a better, I don't know, experience?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, man. I think so much of it is like giving someone to get to a different result for someone, you got to do things different than anybody else. And so with that, at the level that we're at, like we're not a professional franchise, but we have the connections and the access to a lot of pieces of equipment that nobody in the area has. And so one thing, for example, working with someone with hamstring things like that, it's really important because compensations happen. So like someone like Christian, his leg, one side to the other, there was a big discrepancy, which is why he had recurring injury, but being able to address that accurately is super important. So there's one machine that we use that's called an ARP Neuro. And basically your brain contracts muscle 2 to 25 times per second. That does it 500 times. So it supercharges your rehab and activates and turns on muscles that you're just not using to get them firing. And by doing that, you're returning from injury quicker and you're staying on the field longer.
Wow, that's fantastic. Science is amazing, man. As far as things are, what, 6-7 years ago, I went to a chiropractor that was using a rubber mallet, more or less. So to hear that we've gone from the rubber mallet to supercharged is fantastic.
Yeah.
My back has always been, it's going to be a thing forever. So I'm looking forward to digging into more information and coming and giving you guys a visit here soon. So
yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you.
He's got the electrodes.
I do. I got these patches that shoot electricity in 30 to 45 minutes, no more. And I'm like, I ain't no sissy. You know? So I think Going through your entire website, something that stood out to me the most is the testimonies from your clients and clientele, all the way from superstar athletes to badass moms.
Yeah.
You treat everybody, y'all down there treat everybody the same. But by doing that, you recognize that everyone is unique. You stay away from the cookie cutter process. What led to that?
I think for myself, so much of it, I just was the guinea pig, and I just used it from what was my experience like getting care, trying and pursuing being a high level athlete. What did that look like? And I was like, man, if there's a way that you can give access to just everybody
Yeah.
in this form, like why not? And I just always really appreciated the clinicians that took the time to explain stuff to me and
Yeah.
actually gave me a plan and a route to get better, that it wasn't just like a temporary fix.
Yeah.
And so when I wanted to put this together, that's really what I wanted to focus on. And I think it's really important because then, like you said, we try to say everybody is an athlete, whether you have
Yeah.
to squat to get in your car on the toilet, that's
Yeah.
an athletic movement.
Yeah.
And um, the professional athlete experience, if you will, everyone gets that at Rehab Lab Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Everyone has goals or things that they want to achieve, and that's what we tell our patients right off the bat: is your goals are our goals. So let's work together to make it happen.
All right, I have a question because
Yeah.
the old lady always does this, and I hate it. And I want this answer from somebody who knows the answer to this question. Is cracking your knuckles a good idea?
It's not a bad thing. It's so
Oh
you have
man, I was hoping you were going to tell me it was terrible.
yeah. So you have nitrogen gas in every single one of your joints. So if you
Right.
have gotten adjusted by the chiropractor and you hear the pops and cracks, same premise with cracking your knuckles. It's not you're not going to get the super deformed fingers or
Oh, you're not gonna have, like,
yeah, like that scary movie guy. Or
So this
whatever.
is a driving with the dome light on will get you pulled over conversation. That's exactly.
We rode to the game together with our significant others, and we had this conversation about falling in the bathroom. And Charles I just lay there until either I A, can't move, or he can't move and get off the bathroom floor. He goes, but I kind of stay there. And
Yeah, once the back goes out, yeah, because we were talking about it. So
what are you gonna do?
the wife's a little bit younger than the rest of the vehicle, so she was laughing. She goes, "Yeah, I've never thrown my back out, but I'm really looking forward to it." She goes, so I was going around the horn on what happens, and I'm like, "Yeah, honestly, when I throw my back out, I'm just laying there. Like eventually, they're going to be able to move." Or somebody's gonna call an ambulance. I said, but there ain't no point in trying anything else anymore. This is just my life right now. So,
I guess Charles and I we had a question for you. I guess you don't have to answer it. Obviously, you don't have to name any names. But have you ever had a patient where they just keep coming in and you're like, I'm telling you, man, and you need to stop doing what you're doing, and you just keep treating them for the same thing over and over again. Because I know with athletes it's hard because they have to do that
Yeah.
every day of their life. They have to work those muscles, those joints, those bones. But I don't know if you want to tell a story, or if there's anything that's ever happened to you that's
Yeah,
been
no.
funny or entertaining.
Yeah, I've had a patient that if they could work out 8 days a week, they would. The thing.
yeah.
And
Okay.
to the
Yeah,
point where you need some rest
Yeah.
to allow your body to heal and recover. And like I told them, I will be straight with my patients. Look, you can keep coming here and keep paying us or giving us money to take care of you, but I want you to get better. And in order for that to happen, you need to like scale back a little bit.
Yeah.
Take the foot off the pedal. Because yeah, there are people like that, just the workout junkies, workout warriors, and just being able to meet them where they're at and level with them, I think they
Yeah.
appreciate because
CrossFit.
yeah.
CrossFit's a drug. Because I was in the Army when it started to get
Yeah.
massive, and it was bleeding over into our PT. And I was like, listen, just let me do up downs. Just let me do I'm a star. I'll just do I'm a stars all day. I don't have enough caffeine in me to keep up with this CrossFit world. It's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense.
It definitely is. We work with a lot of CrossFit athletes, and I've done CrossFit for a little bit too. And
Yeah.
but there's definitely points where it's okay, maybe we need to switch it up or do something a little different.
Yeah. So, stem wave regenerative medicine.
Yeah.
Is that what, when you were talking about increasing the communication between the muscles? I've never seen this before, so it
Yeah.
looks interesting to me.
So what stem wave is, it uses something called electrocorporal shock wave. So
Ooh,
basically what it is, it's penetrating into the tissue, into deeper layers of like muscle, tendon, ligament, to promote healing by all these different like body systems to
yeah,
recruit your body's own mesenchymal stem cells to accelerate healing. And with patients, it's been really awesome to not only get them out of pain, but then improve performance and recovery.
yeah,
Whether you have a fracture or you just have a tear of some sort or just pain and
yeah.
inflammation in certain areas, it does a really great job of targeting some of those inflammatory spots that like I can't get to or Dr. Mike can't get to with our hands or a needle.
I noticed the dry needling as well. There's always the scene from The Nutty Professor that comes to mind. when I could tell everyone from firsthand experience, it is not like that when you go see the doctor. I don't think 657 needles. I don't think anyone's. Have you done that before? But
I mean, I would say the most needles I've put in someone was like 30, but that was
yeah,
a pro athlete and he loved to get needled. Like
yeah,
he would ask me to needle him the morning of games on Sundays.
yeah.
And I was like, all right, man, if that's what you want to do. And there's other guys that will only get needled the day after the game because they
Okay.
get sore, but he
Yeah.
loved it and he felt like he had an edge and felt more ready to just
I
play the
love
game.
that.
We were
Athletes
around
are.
IE by him, Charles.
Yeah.
The first time that I saw Michael Phelps, like in the Olympics, he had done a cupping session, right?
Yeah.
And I told, I was actually with my parents. I told my mom, I said, God, that guy really sucks at paintball. Lost off his shoulder. And then and she's like, you really don't know what that is, do you? And I was like, I have no idea. And she just showed me it. And I was like, doing that thing with your mouth, you get the cup stuck over your face. And she goes, it's like that. You blow in and it freaking creates a vacuum and goes, I'm like, that was a terrible idea. So I was like one of the first kids that did that stupid thing.
So with cupping, actually, now that Patrick brings it up, the purpose of cupping, I have absolutely no idea other than opening up the blood vessels or opening up blood flow to create, and that's where I go blank.
Yeah, no, you have a layer of connective tissue over all your muscles called fascia, if you guys have heard of that. And when we have pain or discomfort, it's usually because that fascia tightens and creates scar tissue. So range of motion decreases, pain increases. And what cupping does is basically lifts that tissue to allow muscles to glide and move a little bit easier. You also get the marks because a lot of the times in those areas we have a lack of blood flow. So it's sending new circulation of blood and lymphatic drainage to just again promote.
So they're not
healing.
birthmarks.
Yeah,
It's not bruising either. What's the general time frame on those circles from appearance to fade?
Maybe
depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends on the person, but usually 1 or 2 days.
Oh wow, fantastic.
Yeah, nothing super long and.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Again, it's just the amount of stuff you do here. So of course, from the website here, the treatment list, from the chiropractic adjustments, active release technique, Graston technique. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, so what Graston is, it's a set of stainless steel instruments that all have different beveled edges that you use it's like scraping to just break up against some of that scar tissue and adhesion and tight musculature, things like that, just to allow things that be a little bit more functional.
Wow. That's fantastic. That's amazing, actually. Yeah, the amount of knowledge and information. And again, all of this is coming from the mouth of Dr. Sam himself, but you can find all of this right on their website there, you don't have to put that anymore in today's internet. No. That's something that people who grew up with the internet say, and I do apologize. But just rehablabwisconsin.com, a very easy website to navigate, very clear. I don't want to say it reads like a picture book, but it reads like an adult picture book, and absolutely fantastic.
Layman's terms, I love it, Charles.
Yeah, yeah.
Please don't Google that.
God, yeah, that might be.
We
Yeah.
AI loves us.
So, tell us a little bit more about yourself outside of work, Dr. Sam. Let us open the door for your future customers or fans or just
Yeah.
appreciation. What's some of your favorite foods?
Yeah, man, I really like Thai food and
Okay,
sushi.
yeah.
Can't go wrong with a good steak, a good ribeye.
Yeah, yeah. Favorite steak place?
Ooh, in Wisconsin or
Yeah. Oh, okay. Keep it Wisconsin because I might
Yeah.
need to steal your steak place. I'm just this is my third year here, but
Okay.
globally too. I'm
So-
all about globally.
TJ Highlands in Oshkosh.
Oh,
Very
Yeah.
good. Chives
okay,
in Green Bay. Very
okay.
good. They have a steak frite, which is, man, that should be the next spot you go.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, all right. Cheese curds. How do you feel about cheese curds?
So
Oh boy,
I know it's
Charles
like
set you up.
sacrilegious, but I'm lactose. So,
Okay. I forgive you. I forgive.
Yeah,
There's pills out there for you. You can
Is
still
that why
enjoy.
you and Jordan both don't like cheese curds?
Yeah.
Charles found that incredibly disappointing when he found that out.
I know. I tell everyone that it's going to be painful for you and me, so you don't want me to eat that.
All right, we forgive you. We forgive you on the cheese curds portion of it. So, growing up, global steakhouse. Where so far in your travels, where's your favorite global steakhouse?
Man. I'm blanking, I think, a little bit. See Elliot's.
Okay,
Maybe that's just an Atlanta-based one, but
even still, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's good.
Global to us cheese curders, it's anywhere outside of the state lines, from my understanding.
Yeah.
So, no, that's fantastic. So, as a kid, where was that spot you went that just cheesed you every time you got to go, food wise?
honestly, it's tradition in my house growing up. So I was one of five. On
Yeah.
Sunday nights, we would go get Chinese food, and there was this Chinese restaurant like 15 minutes from my parents. And
Yeah.
when we were little, they had us all on high chairs, and by the time we left, if you looked at the table, there's just rice and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
That's like nostalgic, but to the point where when we still go home and I see my parents and they order that, it's wow,
It's so good.
it's awesome.
I love hearing those stories. They're so simplistic too, and I love the answers because it's never some elaborate Hollywood scene as much as
Yeah.
it is just the local Chinese cuisine down the road.
Yeah.
And it's such a human response. It's one of my favorite questions to ask people is where they're, because growing up, no one's a superstar.
Right.
Everyone's, I guess nobody we've talked to yet. And everyone to their parents is a superstar, and that's more than enough for me. So it's worked out really well. Oh gosh, Sam, Patrick, did you have anything else you wanted to throw out there?
Well, no, I think we covered it all. Unless you got something else you want to plug.
Tell us anything and everything you can in a minute to a minute and a half or 10 minutes. Doesn't matter. However you want to play that.
Yeah. First off, thank you guys for having me on. Like, it's really neat, and I love to support and be a part of more local things too. I think it's really important. I've only gotten to where we've gotten just by giving to others first, and so that's really important. So I appreciate you guys being from a similar mindset in that.
Yeah.
And I think that's just for when you have a small business or practice or a podcast, it's really important to build your network and your tribe and your community. And so I think for us, follow us on Instagram at Rehab Lab Wisco. I put some stuff on my personal page too at Dr. Sam Wagner of just free tips and tricks. And if you want to become a patient, I think one thing that Dr. Mike and I talked about is everyone that says they got referred from this podcast, we'll give them a free first visit.
Oh wow!
Charles,
Thank
there
you
you
so much.
Yeah.
Charles,
There you go.
I refer you.
Yeah.
I'm
go.
going. Yeah,
Let me know.
absolutely.
But we just really want to help people. And I think the way that our approach is, it's different and people are looking for that. So we want to be able to help as many people as we can in that process, work alongside them, you know, to get them back in the game.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. We appreciated every second of the time you gifted us.
Yeah.
And now to hear that it even came with a little ice cream treat, that's even better. I mean, just the internet didn't have to tell me y'all were good people. I was able to find that out pretty quickly just by looking into you for 12 seconds. But the internet, once again, did not let us down. For all of our listeners out there, our subscribers, our commenters, the clicks, the pokes, the shares, we see you, we appreciate you. And from the words of Dr. Sam and Mike, Dr. Mike there, after listening to this episode, if you head on down to the Rehab Lab in Wisconsin and tell them that you heard about them through us, they'll hook you up with the first visit on them. I believe that's what I had heard. So
Correct.
We'll have more details on that in the comment section, of course, and the details of this, along with all the links to everything that they are and everything that they do. The world continues to be a better place with you in it. We love you more.